Everybody, welcome back. It is Immortals versus Digital Chaos. We just got done watching Immortals stomp VGJ Storm for the second time in 3 days. We're about to watch them face up against what is one of the tougher teams in North America, Digital Chaos. They beat the Dire, who is kind of I think our current standing #1 of the North American qualifying teams. They beat the Dire just, not yesterday, but the day before on Tuesday. 2-0'd them in the series quite nicely. But then, the next day in King's Cup, they got 3-0'd by the Dire. So I would say they're kind of our second place North American qualifying team right now. See if Immortals can actually take them down a notch. I've got Eosin joining me as an upgrade from Draskell Dota 2. Welcome, Eosin.
Oh, thank you. What an honor to be called an upgrade to Draskell.
I mean, I had to give you that one since Febby was being a bit of a jerk to you in lobby. Maybe it wasn't intentional, just not knowing that you were casting at all.
No, he's a clown. He probably actually wouldn't even know, but it's not ill-intentioned or anything. I mean, I don't mind.
You know, I had Febby the other day try and tell me that he was the world's best Enigma player.
He must have fed after that.
He told me that he had 100% win rate over the last 2 years. I immediately looked it up on Dota Buff. He had something like a 60% win rate with it, with like 20 games or something, and we immediately lost.
That sounds like Febby.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other good Febby stories.
That is my motivation for signing with you and this rift between you and Febby.
Okay.
I've got your back, Steve.
Thank you. I mean, I'm pretty excited to watch NA stuff right now because I've been doing nothing but EU and CIS, and I'm gonna have to assume that the NA region is going through something similar at the moment, where everyone is just playing everyone over and over again.
Yeah. That is exactly what's happening. In fact, we had a bit of a delay for our qualifiers today because there was qualifiers from other tournaments going on. What we've got Star Ladder, PGL, and what else? There's we had King's Cup going on for North America, and then there's, for some reason, EG is playing Complexity for I don't know what. I don't know why they're playing them. I'm not even sure if it's a qualifier game or if it's just a one-off something, but that's also happening right now. So yeah, there's a lot of back and forth between all these, let's say, like, what, 8 teams of North America just playing over and over and over again.
5 seconds.
I think I watched the same teams play for the last 3 days against each other. It was like Mouse against Secret, and then Secret versus Kingwin, and then I think for the CIS region, I watched Empire and Na'Vi play like 8 different times or something.
And so, what is the tell us about Europe? Because I've only been watching a few of the games. What is the meta in Europe? Who's on top? What's going on?
Well, they definitely don't ever pick Dazzle. I think I've watched about 40 different games. I have not seen a Dazzle even once. Night Stalker is definitely up there. AA also up there. AA is pretty much first picked almost every single game, if not banned. Beastmaster has been picked a couple of times, but not very popular as well. I think the heroes that are currently banned out are also very popular over there. Gonna have to wait and see what else they pick and ban over here to compare. But I mean, as far as the teams go right now, Secret's looking pretty solid. They haven't had Fata for the last 3 official matches, or match days, I guess, and they've had 3 offlaners for every day, and they've won every game. So, I mean, they're doing pretty good right now.
All right, not bad. What, they've had 3 different offlaners for all 3 days?
Yeah, to stand in for Fata, because Fata couldn't be playing. So they had like Hestajo, and then they had DK Phobos, and then today they had someone called Sparta.
And is there any reason that they changed?
I have no idea. That's the interesting thing. It's someone said they were basically going through the A to Z challenge with all offlaners right now, but I don't really know why they do it. Who knows? There might be some other reason to it.
Right. Well, going back to your pickup on the draft there, I don't think we've seen a whole lot of Dazzle in North America either. I can maybe only think of like maybe one game that we were casting Dazzle. So this is definitely a different pick from Digital Chaos, and I kind of have a feeling that it's just something that might be a little bit good versus Immortals, because I don't think I really need to tell you about Immortals playstyle, because honestly it hasn't changed too much since they were MVP Phoenix.
All right, so we're gonna have a action-packed game here, right?
Yep, you're gonna have the old MVP Phoenix aggression. They're gonna look to win their lanes most of the time, and they're gonna look to try and transition that laning phase into very aggressive objective taking at first, and then we're gonna go into like the 20-minute mid game and have fight after fight after fight after fight, some of which Immortals will lose, and then they'll pick themselves up and figure out a way to make that same team fight work for them 2 minutes later. You know, it's like the Immortals, like, they have to sometimes lose a fight to figure out, like, how to win it in the next time. Like, oh, we can't have, like, for example, in our series earlier, they couldn't have the Sven going first against the Viper. He just couldn't kill the Viper, and he would just end up getting Viper struck down. So they always wanted to have, like, the Venomancer Frev initiating and drawing the attention. And Sven would always wait until he saw, like, an Earthshaker or something like that and go jump his ass. You know, it was like that classic MVP where you could see the wheels turning and them figuring out, like, how to win the team fight. Because that's all that matters to QO, right?
Well, this is a great team fight hero coming right up. This is a hero that isn't picked up at all in the EU and CIS region as well. I think it got picked up once, but that is it. Tidehunter not very popular over there. And I can't begin to stress how happy I am to watch this type of game, because the last series I casted, and no offense to the teams, but I watched OG play against Kingwin, and that was the slowest game I've ever watched in the last 40 or so series, because they picked Arc Warden and I almost fell asleep.
Oh yeah, I saw that game. And it was just OG completely owning the map, and Kingwin were stuck in base, but they had like Venomancer and, like, you know, pretty good tower defending heroes, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it was just OG. They, you know, farmed up the entire map and decided to go in when they had like a 30,000 net worth lead and still had to rat the rack. So I mean, it's a winning strategy, but sometimes not the most entertaining.
Jakiro, huh? Jakiro taken away from Immortals, who have been playing some Jakiro. They played it both offlane as well as support. Today they played it offlane. Yesterday, or on Tuesday, they played it both support and offlane. I gotta say, it was impressive what the core Jakiro could do. In fact, in our last series, they had Jakiro Bloodseeker, and we saw Jakiro outputting some real damage with that liquid fire, both on towers and on heroes when he was blood raged up.
Stands ready.
I feel like on paper that hero is actually insane. Like his ice path, you can actually realistically reach 25 in a lot of games if you play core Jakiro, just because of his level 10 talent. I forgot what percent. Is it 25%?
What is what
XP
what?
gain? The Jakiro XP gain talent.
Yes, I think it's 25%. I don't know. We'll find out once we go into the game.
Yeah, but that level 25 ice path talent is something else. Like, it turns his ice path into one of the best disables in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, 25%.
Radiant team pick.
You were correct. Good work, Eosin.
Thank you. I never play that hero.
What? Why don't you? Isn't it a support hero?
Yeah, but I don't know how to play it. I mean, it sounds simple, but I don't know how to play the hero.
Don't you just run at things in liquid fire and dual breath them?
But the point is, I'm better at running at people with other things.
Okay, I feel you. Pugna. Immortals have picked up a Pugna, so they now have two beasts in tankiness, Tidehunter and Sven. And they've got this team fight lineup, and there is finally the pushing power that Immortals seem to always need. And this probably gives them better late game as well, just because Pugna is pretty decent late game, but Sven is one of the be-all, end-all late game carries right now.
I think some of the other regions, like, they like to take the troll warlord whenever they see Sven. They just want to stick the troll on top of the Sven, and then the rest of the team is basically going to deal with everyone outside of Sven. And sometimes there's even like really wacky strats I've seen where they would draft the PL even though the Sven is open, or I think it's been drafted even once after seeing the Sven, and they basically just have the PL kill everyone else and then have the other heroes deal with Sven. So people have different ways of dealing with Sven in the different regions, it seems. I think DC definitely still need an answer for it. And okay, I guess that's the Sven answer.
You know, Jaskal actually suggested a Razor in our first game of Immortals. And it ended up being a Viper instead, but it kind of got us talking about Razor. And he just doesn't seem to be too favorable of a hero right now, even if he is a good counter to the Sven. Just not a whole lot teams running it, but it seems Moonmeander feeling confident. We'll grab it up for Abed, and they're going to be running a safe lane Mason Jakiro and an off lane Beastmaster.
This is very unexpected.
So how the hell do they try and match up their lanes? Are they good with just...
It's got to be a tri-lane, right?
Yeah, I think so. They want to match the Jakiro with the tri-lane up against the Sven. Though I don't think the Beastmaster is going to be too happy with his matchup against Tidehunter. So maybe... What if they did a Beastmaster tri-lane? That's not terrible, right?
Maybe they just put Abed in the tri-lane and they Mason against the Pugna.
I wonder how that matchup goes. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I'm pretty sure Pugna would win, but at the same time, it's not like you're going to lose hard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason why I would suggest it is because if you put the Razor in the tri-lane, I think your tri-lane becomes that much stronger.
So you're leaning one way or the other when it comes to looking at this draft?
I'm just like checking their items right now, and if you look at Mason's items, he's going with mid items, and Abed is actually with laning items right now.
Okay, so if they match the Razor versus the Sven in the tri-lane, you would have a 1v1 against the Pugna for the Jakiro, and then they would have still the Beastmaster faced up against the Tidehunter, but I'm sure they still just trade farm back and forth.
Yeah, I think that matchup is actually pretty even, but it's like, while it's even, it's so much harder to be the Beastmaster. There's like far more room for error as a Beastmaster. I mean, Tidehunter is very straightforward, but as a Beastmaster, you have to like go through all this trouble of microing very well to make sure that you don't feed boars and are able to farm without getting anchored.
Yeah, don't get hit by the anchor or potentially lose CS because of your loss of damage. But you could already see he's picking up the very early Quelling Blade. He came out of base with 190 gold, so it looks like he has an idea of how to be able to do this matchup.
I mean, so far, if I have to look at the laning setup, it looks like DC know exactly what they want to accomplish and what they're setting out to do. So I think with this kind of a setup, they should come out on top in laning, especially because I feel like Immortals early game isn't going to be, moving around the map and trying to find kills with a Night Stalker as well as an AA. They're not exactly the greatest when it comes to that. Night Stalker is okay, but AA really needs to get his levels.
All right, we got our unpause, and into the game we go. So I'm looking at this tri-lane. The Sven, Sven versus Razor doesn't sound too good for the Sven, but they do have kind of a kill combination, right? They've got a stun, cold feet into a void slow. Like, that sounds like they could potentially win that tri-lane if they can actually just get kills. Not necessarily through the passive 3v3 where that Sven is just going to have all his damage taken away, but on the opportunity to get kills on the supports or maybe even the Razor himself.
I think DC might be overthinking things. They're sending the Razor down bottom. I think they might be guessing incorrectly here. And this is going to be first blood, maybe.
Baited by the bounty rune. I love that like moment. You know, the bounty rune spawns. Nobody touches it. Moonmander thinks to himself, well, I guess that's me. I guess I take it. And then all of a sudden, the whole first blood homies rolling out from Immortals. They're going to be having their tri-lane versus the Beastmaster. Dazzle's going to be making his way back. They do, or at least should know, that there's some sort of observer ward in this area as the range creep spots out Febby. I think we're going to have an early gank on mid lane. Bulba is going to do the classic Bulba things, though he's not actually protecting Abed, which is usually his duty, but it is pretty normal for Bulba just to AFK in the mid lane for the beginning of the game and help out his mid laner as best he can.
They're going to be going in for the lane rotations immediately. Tidehunter already TP'd up top. So it looks like DC actually were going for this kind of matchup, which is kind of interesting to me. I mean, Razor definitely does do very well against the Tidehunter, but I would have imagined that they would definitely try their best to pressure the Sven instead.
So Forev is going to be chased away once again by another static link. It does leave MSS a little bit out to dry, but I'm sure like Razor's one of those heroes that you need to have the utmost best possible start you can get for him to be able to start winning that game.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Beastmaster can always kind of do some recovery. And I think the opposite kind of applies to the Tidehunter, right? Where Tidehunter kind of needs his farm at the beginning because he's more of a farmy type offlane hero than others, right? Because he's going to not just get his Blink Dagger, but to remain relevant in the game, he needs more than just a Blink oftentimes. He needs Pipe or Mech or Guardian Greaves, maybe a Refresher late on to the game.
Yeah, definitely. And this is like the perfect game for... Well, actually, would you actually consider Pipe in a game like this? Because I'm looking at the lineup and Jakiro, probably the only one that does somewhat of magic damage. You know, Abed does have the plasma field, but that's about it. Most of it is going to be physical damage, so we're going to see a lot of value in high armor stat items.
Yeah, maybe he gets the Mech Guardian Greaves, but...
Oh, mid lane.
They're going to be able to get the stun onto MP. Now, he does have the Decrepify, and the magic damage has already kind of gone away, so shouldn't take any more. Bottom lane, MSS being run down pretty heavily here. They're going to leave Febby to it. Febby tries to get the last swipe, and the Cold Feet proc is not going to be enough to finish him off either, and Febby may just end up dropping a Moonmeander. Oh, couldn't quite get that last hit off. Maybe Bulba can. Moonmeander is just a bit too slow to be able to catch up to the Night Stalkers, so no first pickup for Digital Chaos or Immortals in this bottom lane, at least, where things have finally kind of settled. I think Immortals have accepted the fact that they're going to have to deal with Tidehunter versus Razor for the entirety of this laning phase.
This is never a fun matchup to have. Any type of melee laning against a Razor in the side lane is the worst time ever.
Yeah, and you can see it in his CS. Forev is 4-0, burned through most of his regen by now. He's not too happy. MP isn't too happy either, 16-2. His CS is actually pretty good considering he's getting 1v2 the whole entire time, but he might just die for the first time as they are going to be able to get that extra stun from Bulba, and that will allow Mason to be able to pick up the first kill for Digital Chaos.
Very nicely done by Bulba. He's actually managing to pick up levels while being very active on the map. I think he's like made 2 laps around the map already, just running from lane to lane. Yubu just going to be sitting in this lane doing what Ancient Apparition should be doing. Trying to get your 6 as soon as possible.
It's not doing too badly for it either. Almost having level 3 so far off of pulls. Febby, now that it's nighttime, will try and lend a helping hand at mid, but Bulba's already gone. Maybe they're going to go for a dive onto Mason with this creep wave pushing in so heavily. Could tank a lot of tower shots, but Mason is already backing up so far that it seems unlikely. Instead, they're just going to get some pot shots on the tower from the Pugna.
I think this mid lane ward spotted out Febby, so Bulba draws the line out, telling Mason to back up. So the game is like pretty quiet right now, but we know how Immortals is going to be playing. When do you think they're actually going to start fighting nonstop? Is it the moment everyone gets their abilities, like A hit 6?
I think they might do a little bit of that when they have Ravage and just try and create the space for QO and his Sven to be able to farm and carry this game for them. They kind of did a similar style with QO's Animage earlier. And then the game before that, they did have a QO Sven, and they actually started losing the game pretty heavily around 20-25 minutes, but QO went for some pretty aggressive items, Mask of Madness to kind of farm up jungle, and then ended up getting a relatively fast Blink Dagger. Febi's in trouble here. Going to be double slowed down. They have another stun coming in from Bulba pretty soon here. Looks for the double stun. He's going to give up his life for that one, though. Jesus. With between the sprint, the decrepifying magic damage blast, MP knocks Bulba a new one. And DC are only able to pick up that one kill for Bulba's sacrifice. Dubu is able to get himself away. And upgrading the courier at 6 minutes in.
Coming soon to you at a pub near you.
Jeez, I better never hear that from any of my supports. 6 minutes in, the courier's not upgraded. He's like, but I saw Immortals not upgraded till 6 minutes.
Hey,
was it dead or something?
You just forget. I don't know.
Or did they really just not upgrade it? Wow.
Hey, you can't blame the support for that. You know, you gotta, as a mid player or whatever core player, you gotta pester your supports. You know, please upgrade the courier. There's a chat wheel for it.
Two-man smoke up, Dubu and Febi. They do have a nice kill combo. Cold Feet into Void. Hopefully that slow is enough to be able to make the Cold Feet latch. They're going to go for a dive onto Mason. Coming in behind this tier 1 tower. Mason knows he's dead, but it's not just that. They're going to be able to get a lot of damage on this tier 1 tower, maybe even finish it up. At the same time, Forev does die at the top lane due to another run-in to Abed, and this time some supports to be able to chase him down. QO with the Mask of Madness is chasing MSS away, but MSS successfully does drag the creep wave off the tower.
This is actually a really cool combo. This triple nuke from the Pugna. It's like this middle lane is actually very dangerous for DC.
So where does MP go from here? Because he's taking that mid tower. He's not going to hang around for the whole game. He's going to start moving around. But where do you think he goes to first? Does he goes for the easy tower and just move towards bottom, maybe get behind MSS and take that off lane tower? Or does he try and fight the tri-lane for Forev, which would be a much more dangerous and risky move, I would say?
Well, he is heading up top, so my guess is that he wants to fight with the Ravage, since Forev is now level 6. So, and oh, there's a big juicy stack here.
Goodness, what the hell is this stack?
Oh, DC need to do something about this. I don't think you want to give this up.
Why did DC stack this up so much, or was Tidehunter doing it? How the hell did this happen? Meanwhile, bottom lane, they do manage to kill Dubu, but this stack is so much more important than any hero kill. Fortunately, Abed does come in and get a lot of those creeps with a great nuke. But most of them still go to Immortals. So that's got to be a big win. I don't know who was stacking that up, but Immortals definitely won the stack war.
I mean, I don't want to point fingers, but there's only one support up here who hasn't left the lane.
Moon, what are you doing, man? Maybe he thought they were going to be able to clear it with the Jakiro first before Tide and Pugnut could get up there.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, I think any of the cores could have done it. I mean, apart from Beastmaster, since you don't max out the Axis, you know. I think Razor could have slowly spammed it out, but, you know, Immortals, they had tabs on this.
This tier 1's going to be dropping pretty quick if Immortals have their way, but they do have a Hawk from Digital Chaos spotting this all out. Or at least some of it. They see 2 of the heroes. The other 2 are coming in freshly smoked. Look for their opportunity. God's Strength pop. Start running at the heroes with a Warcry. They do manage to get the stun. That's going to be on Moonmanor. See if they can kill him before the Shallow Grave. Not quite. So that kill's certainly going to be delayed. MP actually starts going on to MSS. Moonmanor's going to be able to heal himself back up behind the tower. Bulba's going to be silenced before he gets off the stun. Bebby drops dangerously low, but it's going to be Dubu who ends up being the sacrificial lamb for the rest of IMT to be able to get away. So not quite the smoke rotation that they really envisioned. Digital Chaos pretty quick on the rotation there in the TPs.
That was a great macro pyre from Mason. It just pretty much cut the entire team in half, and if they were to commit to that, I think Immortals would have lost a lot more than just Dubu. Unfortunately for them, it was daytime, so you know, you can't exactly expect a gank like that to go too successfully when they can pretty much see you from 800 range or so. But all things considered, I think only losing Dubu there is pretty fortunate for Immortals.
It's got to be a little bit concerning for them too. Abed's just free farming this whole entire time. And, ooh, that always hurts to see. Febby not quite yet, level 5 at 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and Ancient Apparition isn't 6 either, so both of the supports somewhat behind. Definitely hurting Immortals. They're not even making use of the Ravage either. But I think to be fair, there's not too much follow-up for the Ravage, so it is kind of difficult.
Trying to work towards an Arcane. Actually went for a Solar Crest build first, which is I like that better than the mech build that we were suggesting earlier. It feels like mech is sort of an outdated item right now, and Solar Crest is definitely the preferred, especially when you're looking at this counter to the amplified damage, for example, as well as to the single target focus that both Razor and Beastmaster are going to be employing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And there's going to be a big smoke up from DC. Let's see if Immortals are ready for this rotation. They still have the Ravage on Tidehunter, so we can always blink in here. It's right next to
he's going to be right next to all of them now. There is going to be the Ice Path, but he actually doesn't get hit by it. He's going to be able to get the double Ravage, see if they can grab both these heroes. They only get Mason off of it. Bulba turns around, gets the stun off, but still taking a lot of damage. And one last right click from MP. Actually secures the kill. Moon Meander and MSS quick to retreat out of this tier 1 tower area, as it will surely be pushed by Immortals, and don't think there's anything Digital Chaos can really do. What is Digital Chaos waiting on, by the way? Is there a certain amount of farm that's necessary for Razor before he comes into these fights?
I don't really think so. I honestly feel like he has more than enough.
Oh,
Roar goes off.
What a trap set up by Digital Chaos. QO went for the instant TP, but got stopped as MSS didn't actually TP out and stuck around, managed to stop the TP of QO. And now they might be able to find some extra heroes. Bulba only gets the stun onto Forever. He's going to lose his life. MP, nice turnaround there by him. Abed on the front line, so make sure there's no extra pursuit. And Ice Blast comes in. Not going to really be able to clip anybody there, it looks like. And it's Digital Chaos's turn to now push down the tower.
Not going to be able to do too much against this, not having Ravage, as well as your Sven being down, and especially since the AA just used the ulti. I'm kind of surprised that they aren't stacking even more for Kyo right now. There's a bit of a stack on the left side, but I don't think the one on the right has been touched on too much.
So it looks like Digital Chaos, their timing is just entirely based on like Ravage being used. As soon as Ravage was used, Abed was like, all right, time to fight, boys. And he's going to get really powerful soon when he's got that Hurricane Pike.
I think once he gets that Hurricane Pike, Sven's life just becomes that much more difficult. So they're going to have to be careful about that. But I think even if there is a Ravage, I feel like it's not that bad to take a team fight with what they currently have. I think Abed is actually strong enough to contribute a lot in these team fights.
MSS did go for a Medallion of Courage into the Necronomicon, so delaying that split pushing and team fighting mechanism a little bit, but Mason's going to be caught. He does, well, he does have TP, but obviously he doesn't have a chance to be able to TP out with the Night Stalker right there, so another good catch by Immortals. 7-6, 14.5 minutes in. Digital Chaos are still up, but okay, not really. They're up by like 50 gold, and Immortals is actually up in experience right now.
This is what I like to see.
Radiant's
The
courier
Sven who
has
goes
been
for a Blink Dagger first before anything else. So QO
Dire's top tower is under
gonna be
attack.
ready to fight once the next God Strength comes up. Gonna be using the rest of this one to just finish up the Ancients, and man, they're gonna get picked off. Not gonna be able to hold on to this tier 2 tower. This is a lot of pressure from Immortals.
Yeah, this is just not great. I don't know what to say, like positioning from Digital Chaos or something, but they're simultaneously taking so much damage on the tier 2 while also losing that big stack to the Sven, which they had vision on. Now they managed to get a really good fight, though, potentially. He's a two-man stun entrance. The Ravage goes off, though. Here comes the Ice Blast, but Abed, he's honestly way too big. He's going to be able to latch onto Forev, and Forev is not making it out of here. Febby tries to go for a quick kill onto MSS, but has to run himself into the trees and won't be making it out alive. Triple kill for Abed. And there, finally, is the big fight for Digital Chaos to swing things in their favor.
Did QO run past the ward? I feel like DC went for that engagement simply because I feel like they knew that QO wasn't going to be there.
Yeah, they saw him farming the Ancient stack with this ward here.
Oh, it just ran out. Okay, I see.
Yeah, so I think that's
Very
definitely
nicely
what
done.
behooved them to finally contest that top lane.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I think that's like a bit of a miscommunication from Immortals. A little risky to go for a play like that when QO isn't ready to fight, no God Strength or health or mana. You have to go to the Shrine in order to heal up.
Roshan dropping fast and no Ravage. They're going to be a bit too late for that one. Bulba actually makes his entrance into the fight. Is going to die for it, though, and Digital Chaos are just not in a great spot for this one. But maybe they are. Abed's actually chasing away QO, draining all of his damage. Even if he dies here, still be okay, as he does have that Aegis. They're going to have to lay so much into him just to finish off life number 1, and that's why they don't even try it. They're going to lose MP, potentially Dubu as well. Dubu, yep, is going to go down. It's only going to be QO who gets out of that nasty trio. Brev stuck in the middle of all these heroes with his anchor smash time after time, slowing down the damage, but finally the big daddy arrives. Abed, once again, a triple kill for him, 9-12, and Digital Chaos start racking him and stacking him.
This is starting to look really scary for Immortals because this Razor is...
Oh, Febby, what's going on? You're just giving a free kill to Bulba. He tried to go for a ward mission at half HP and ends up getting caught in the process from this very aggressive ward.
Another thing to mention is it's actually very impressive how fast Bulba managed to finish this Blink Dagger. It was finished at like 14.5 minutes.
Drain, baby, drain, but Abed will survive. The Aegis remains intact for Digital Chaos.
I take that.
Since what has got to change for Immortals? Should they start shying away from team fights until QO's a bit bigger? What's the deal?
I don't know if you can, but at the same time, now that there's an Aegis up on this Razor, I think you actually don't really have a choice but to play keep away until that runs out.
MSS scouting out with the Invis rune, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. But they should know Ravage is up, and that should deter them from a full-on clash. Only looking for those easy pickoffs or some sort of way maybe to force the Ravage, but not too offensively. Digital Chaos seeing some of the heroes head up towards top lane. They're going to keep on pushing through to mid, leaving Abed as the only target of initiation for Immortals. They're all just huddled up in this tree line, making sure that no one else is going to get initiated on but the Aegis carrier.
I think with this, they could potentially just go high ground, right? Oh, but they didn't want to fight. DC do not want Immortals to feel safe here. It's going to be a big engagement coming up.
Double back smoke. Bulba's going to make his entrance. Oh, no, Bulba. He loses life immediately. Now, that's pretty typical, but this time around, he doesn't actually get off any stun. Moon Meander's going to die instantly to QO. He managed to get a good time crit. Oh, no, that wasn't the Force Staff. That certainly isn't the Force Staff at all. QO stuck up on the cliff is going to be able to make his TP out. MP, just shy of getting caught by that ice path there from the Jakiro, is able to TP out as well. That was pretty much the Immortals' dream. They forced Digital Chaos back, got the tier 2 tower, didn't lose their own tower, and they managed to pick up the 2-for-1 trade.
how did they manage to make that work? I'm actually very confused as to how that worked out. I feel like it actually started out with some miscommunication, because if you see your Tidehunter TPing out without casting a single ability, I thought they weren't going to fight, but the next thing you see, QO pops his ulti and he goes in. So that was a 4v5 with a very favorable trade for Immortals.
Yeah, I can't believe, like, they started off with a kill on Bulba, and Forev TP's out immediately. I was like, man, that must be like a full team call to back out, but you know QO. He's never one to back down from a fight. Jesus Christ. Talk about, see, this is why I feel like in so many ways QO is an amazing player, but this is also why the team follows QO's direction and not the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, there is no other way. It's just the QO way.
Yeah, you're either with it or you're out, man. You know, Steven, I actually played a game with Forev where he played off-lane Slardar, and we had QO on our team. And I asked him, I was like, isn't that kind of a garbage off-laner? He's like, yeah, it is, but I've got to start playing MVP Dota. So, you know, he just had to pick up an aggressive initiator for QO. Forev's going to be jumped on here. They're going to see if they can force out the Ravage, but simultaneously not really get caught too badly. But a really good Force Staff is going to be able to get Forev onto the other side. Now they're completely surrounding Forev underneath this tier 2. Look at him just kind of poking back and forth. Another Force Staff backwards. Now he throws out the Ravage as they're a little bit overextended with the Ice Blast coming in hot. They could do some big time damage here with Abed. Drop it in low and fast, and here comes QO! He hits the big time stun, cleans up 3, and might be able to catch Abed as well. He's got to blink up in 4 seconds time. Much needed S&Y gets a little bit of extra movement speed to Abed, but it's not enough. They're going to catch him, bring him down as well with no Aegis. Immortals have done it again. Immortals, just when things start looking a little bleak, they find a way to win a team fight.
All right, with that one display, I now understand what you're talking about. Things just don't look well. They fight, and they just sit back, they think about it, and the next fight, it just looks perfect. That was some great baiting by Forev. He just played them so badly.
Yeah, 4 staff after 4 staff. I think the first one was MP over the cliff, and then Forev using another 4 staff to get deeper behind the tier 2. And Immortals finally saw, like, all right, they have definitely overcommitted.
Still, even with a lost team fight, they are very, very close. This game could be anyone's. But DC going to be looking to make moves, knowing that the Arn isn't a Ravage.
Slowing down MSS, looking to get the Ice Blast on top of him, and a bit of burst damage there. MP, oh, QO is actually going for Abed at the same time. This is the real fight, though, but QO is losing his damage so fast. They do manage to finish out the Beastmaster. Back over to QO, makes his blink away, but Bulba's hot on his trail, has the vision from the amplified damage, slows him down a little bit more, but Abed wants the easier kill on Dubu. Now he'll look for the harder one. Goes for QO again. Bulba's got a stun up in another second. No blink, though, as that's going to be stopped by Forev's Gush. Abed.
But top lane.
Yeah, what is happening top lane? Tier 3 is almost down. Digital Chaos, you need to get your boys back here and defend real quick. A nice 2-man stun. That's going to start things off. MP turns around, though. Sucks Moon Meander dry. Tier 3 down and not stopping as QO is kind of chasing Abed, making sure he can't get the TP back. They may actually have this melee Rex.
They actually are going to get this.
Immortals are probably going to lose both their heroes for this one, but they are full on committing to be able to finish off this melee Rex. MP just running deeper into the base. Decrepify, all for another Nether Blast, but Febby's got it in the bag. Yes, they are both dead. Febby, don't even try that TP nonsense. You die for what was well worth it. Melee Rex goes down at 24 minutes.
that was quite the series of events. They were fighting 3v4 or 3v... Yeah, they were fighting 3v4 in their own jungle. And it was a great gank from Febby as well as MP. They pick off Mason at the top. And DC just unable to react to that. Lose a melee Rax because of that great distraction from the rest of Immortals.
And look at QO. And like, he knows all those people just had to, like, book it to top lane. So he takes that opportunity to take a tier 1 tower. Now, hopefully he doesn't get caught in the process, or maybe he just kills Bulba and gets, oh Jesus, a 1400 damage crit, but doesn't have the blink. Has the BKB, but no mana to use the TP, so somebody's got to help him out, and here comes Ferev. He's got the Ravage too, lays it out, but QO has no damage, so he can't turn and fight, and Ice Blast is going to be there, but where's the follow-up to bring down Abed? It looks like it's just going to be Ferev dying for his allies until QO comes back in. He's got the damage back, cleaves it off the Necronomicon minions. He does end up going down. 2 for 2 so far. Abed's going to continue to fight this one out and actually dies to MP, force staff himself away from the axes, and survives a little bit longer until he ends up dying to the burn from Mason. Febby looks for the extra kill. Mason's so damn low, and he's got the Void on him too. Mason is just going to be run down here. He's got the extra movement speed. As long as he doesn't get juked around here, he's going to be able to catch up to Mason. MSS gets the extra kill on the back line though. Manages to kill Dubu. Febby's got to go for the TP out. Bulba's here soon. Blink and stun. A second too late, Bulba. 23 to 22 is the score, with Immortals leading by around 4K.
This is some great Dota to watch. It brings a tear to my eye.
Is this everything that you dreamed for of Korean Dota when you were spanking that ass in Korea?
No, if you ask me that question, I mean, obviously the preferable outcome is that we're still good. But I mean,
that's effort still top of their game.
I'll take this for now.
Oh man, this game's getting pretty intense when it comes to the fighting back and forth. But do you think either team should be backing down?
I honestly, at this point, I feel like both teams have what it takes to win these team fights, but it really just comes down to execution. And at the end of the day, it feels like DC's is just harder to execute altogether. It's so much more difficult to run the DC lineup than it is to just, you know, go in there, hit a Ravage, hit an AA Blast, and just make sure you angle yourself for a great Sven cleave.
Digital Chaos take away the big Roshan ward. That's where the next big team fight is going to happen. You can tell Digital Chaos really hoping to be able to find a way into that Roshan pit before the Ravage is back up, but now it's definitely too late. 10 seconds left until Ravage. Febby's clearing through all these wards and counter wards that are left up in this cliff area. There's still another set though. Digital Chaos definitely heavily investing into controlling this, because I really don't think Digital Chaos can win if they give up this Aegis to Immortals. I think the Sven just naturally ends up getting too big.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I also think that Febby, being as close as he is to this Agnum Scepter, I think Immortals should just keep tabs on this Roshan and wait for Febby to finish this Agnum Scepter. He only needs 150 gold. This is going to be a big pickup.
Digital Chaos going for the wide wraparound here, hoping to be able to catch people up on this high ground area, which they usually are, guarding the pit, or even better, on the low ground, the two-man stun for Bulba. Start things off, looking to immediately blow up MP, but now QO Phoenix is here, but oh, he's been stunned up by the Beastmaster, letting the Razor be able to get away. Now they're going to try and slow down some of these heroes. Does manage to get the Ravage onto 4, some of the low ground, some of the high ground, but QO, he's just not getting the opportunity to let out those swings. Bulba gets another stun onto him. He gets the stun onto Abed, but is already dead to the physical damage. MSS in the back lines may end up diving to Febby, but it's definitely Digital Chaos' fight until QO forces the buyback and goes for the kill on Abed, but if he dies here, this could just be Immortals completely throwing the game. He's losing all of his damage, has Amplify up on him, and he gets rampaged by Abed. At just 250 HP, the Razor survives, and Roshan is theirs for the taking now, with 90 seconds on the clock for the Sven, and maybe even a kill on Febby to boot. Mason catches them with the Yule Scepter, slows him down. Another rampage for Abed, because why the hell not? And just like that, Immortals found just the worst fight in the world.
This is exactly why. It's just, I feel like it really is that even of team fighting. It's just comes down to the execution and initiation, and what better initiation can you ask for DC, right? That was MP and Dubu getting caught out of position, great stun by Bulba, and once these heroes are gone, Kyo just has too difficult of a time to get in the hits. He's just getting kited constantly by the rest of DC.
Now, Digital Chaos did just lose their range max in top for all of this, but they will get Roshan. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to push into high ground so easily, though, with only 30 seconds left for the Sven. But if they can kill the Sven again, the game may just be over with him having no buyback. Immortals fighting around this one. Moonman are going to be slowed down pretty heavily, but no drain from the Pugna.
It's starting to feel like Roshan isn't even that easy to take.
Jesus, look at this. Now Febi's going to be here. He's got all the vision inside the pit. They can start running at that pit pretty soon. Here's just about Roshan's about to fall. Abed picks up the Aegis. Febi just gives his life away. And now Digital Chaos, it's a grab bag. Who else are they going to be able to get? It looks like they want to be able to grab Forev, a 4-staff 1. Still not enough to be able to get out of range of that. Whoa. Jesus. QO gave me a heart attack. I thought he was about ready to blink in on the side or something, but just a God Strength blown and Digital Chaos will back up.
Trust me, he was ready. You don't God Strength if you're not ready.
Dude, every single time I see QO initiate, it's so rare to see him do the straightforward initiation that I actually expected him to do like some sort of tier 2 or Shrine TP. I was expecting him from like the left-hand side, so my camera just freaked the hell out.
Radiant are scanning.
Illusion.
Well, this is looking bad for Immortals, but I think that they're still going to be able to pull it back if they manage to do exactly what they did earlier. You know, this was a position they were in earlier. There was an Aegis on the Razor. They just decided to avoid fights altogether and wait for their moment to strike.
Now, some other teams, I would suggest at this point in time. All right, boys, hard loss. Gave up the Aegis. Don't have a buyback on Sven, but we still have the late game. Let's just play safe and farm up. But something tells me Immortals is just not going to do that.
Well, sometimes you see an opportunity, you just got to take it. Look at QO, he's like farming the mid lane, doesn't even care.
I'm waiting for them to like put into use this like smoke that Duru has. Something crazy, you know, like something that just makes no sense. You have no buyback, and the enemy team has Aegis. Only Immortals is the only team that I would think of that would like still go for the fight at that point.
I mean, I feel like the success rate is fairly high because, like you said, it's just so random that no one expects it, and that includes their opponents.
25-29 at Digital Chaos do seem to have control of this game, but they are still a full lane of racks down. Let's not forget what happened by, what, 25 minutes or something? Melee Rax was taken at top lane. So Digital Chaos, they still have to be the ones to end this game. And they're down in objectives so far. So even with this Aegis, they still have yet to make use of this Aegis. And that's an entirely different thing. Mortals, meanwhile, are going to be playing the dodging game and fighting anywhere but where Digital Chaos is, farming up and waiting for that high ground push.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They will have to head back, though, if DC decide on continuing, which I think they most likely will.
Might
At the very
as well,
least,
right?
they want to drag everyone back.
Is under attack.
Moonmander's drawn pretty heavily that he wants to push out this bottom wave. Now, I think they still have a few more minutes when it comes to their Aegis. So if they want to get a little bit better control of the map before they go high ground, I do understand that.
It's going to be very important to make sure that Febi does not lose this gem.
All right, so they push the wave out, and what are they going to do? Like, are they smoke and immediately run back towards mid? Or are they just going to run in mid? No smoke required.
They do have a boost of travel on Mason, so definitely want to take control of the map right now, make sure everything is pushed in so that they keep their options open.
And they do have really good vision. I guess that is one of the cool things about what they just did, right? They pushed out top lane, they got really good vision, then they go to the other side of the map. Naturally, Immortals are going to try and farm where they're not, and they'll have really good vision of where they're farming and potentially get there in time to find the pickoff. Of course, that doesn't happen. Immortals quick to head back to their base. They know in what a dire situation they are and how much of this game is on Digital Chaos to make the plays.
I believe the Aegis should be running out soon, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess. Oh god, I'm gonna say
they forced staff
a
Abed.
minute and a half. Abed's gonna be okay for now, but does take about half his HP and just poke damage from Immortals, so that's a really good start for them. Of course, some of that's gonna be undone by the fact they've got. Okay, maybe not a minute and a half. Maybe it was half a minute. Yeah, close enough, right? Abed loses the Aegis. Digital Chaos do not get a high ground push with that extra life, but they do have the cheese still. And I feel like cheese is more important for Razor almost. Maybe not against Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, but just for the continuation of the first life where you've got that static link going on somebody. You know, I feel like Razor's not quite a transformation ult carry, you know, like Death Prophet or Lycan or one of those heroes, but he's kind of close to it just because of how important static link is.
He's been doing a very good job in making sure that he catches out the Sven every single time, and they're smoked up right here. This could be bad for DC if Immortals are able to find the right initiation.
God Strength popped.
This is the QO.
QO going for it, but his smoke has popped, and he's just blindly blinking in. He's going to go for Mason. Does manage to catch him. Shallow Grave immediately thrown out, and he is going to be Primal Roared. His BKB is going to be wearing out pretty soon, too. There goes the Ice Wall, and Abed is already right on top of him with the static link. QO has nothing to be able to stop this. He's trying to blow up MP next, as that was the big healer. Goes back to QO, takes one. He'll take MP as well. Boba slows him down. The Decrepify can only last so long, and with all that minus armor, they'll easily bring him down. Godlike Spree for Abed. Now it's his turn to potentially go beyond godlike as they're trying to bring down this tier 3 tower. No buyback in store for the Sven. Classic QO. Ran in. Oh, there's another stun on MP. Follow up. They might just be able to take him down. Surrounded with the Eul Scepter. Here comes the Ice Blast. Double Force Staff. Actually getting away from that little trap that was set by DC. But they'll turn their attention towards Forev. Thank God that was a miss. Because, Jesus, Abed is racking up the damage. Look at him. He's hitting for almost 400 damage a hit. Digital Chaos will take one lane of racks. They still have another 40 seconds till the Sven is back up. Can they get all three?
I think they will be able to with 40 seconds. There's not too much that Immortals can do to slow this down. They don't exactly have the greatest of turtling. So I think this might be Megas. I won't say it's over, but... Oh, they catch out MP.
I mean, if MP dies, surely it is over. Another Decrepify. 4 staffs galore. Get him out of the range of Abed. DC go immediately back to taking objectives. Now, with just 10 seconds left on the clock, they look towards that last lane of racks. But they've got an extra 94 damage on Abed. Just making things go a whole lot quicker. Another 10 seconds for our Night Stalker, though he's only a minor character in this team fight. And Digital Chaos are going to give respects to QO and his Sven. They're going to back away, hoping not to get caught by Forev. Managed to dodge the Ice Path.
Oh, Febby.
Stun onto Febby, who TP'd onto the Shrine. Now there's a follow-up from QO. Managed to catch Moon Meander. They need much, much more for Immortals to have a chance to come back. Oh, MSS gets just ahead of that one, but there's the Eul Scepter to be able to put a stop to that TP. They ignore him and stop Mason's TP. Well played by Febby, maximizing the amount of catch. QO is going to come in and finish off MSS, making it 3 heroes that end up dropping from Immortals' small comeback.
Well, once again, Immortals with their backs against the walls. That was, I mean, going all the way back to the very beginning, that was some great positioning by DC. I don't actually know how they knew when they were going to come in, but they backed up when Sven God Strength, and MSS positioned himself for a great roar, and they were all just kind of like in a big cone around the Sven, not really allowing him to even touch them. And if they lose the Sven, there's really not much that's going to win them the team fight here.
Is there any big items that are coming up? Ooh, MP's Aghanim Scepter. That's certainly a big one. And have we seen the refresher? We haven't, right? He just picked that up?
I think so.
Oof. Jesus.
Are we gonna see the game just end in a moment?
Dire's middle
I think
tower
so.
is under attack.
I think that's exactly what's about to happen, Steven. It's either going to be the most amazing... Like, they could even do it with one Ravage and potentially have the second Ravage for the buybacks or something like that. Like, something like that could happen for Immortals that allows them to be able to win the game. Or it's going to be Digital Chaos running them over with the BKBs. And that's the thing. I think it's all about the initiation and whether or not Abed gets off his BKB or he gets ravaged and ice blasted and brought down by Sven.
Dire's
Febby might get
bottom
caught here.
shrine is under attack.
They certainly cannot afford to give DC any
running up high
freebies
ground.
here. They're going to hold on to the shrine area. Frev forces himself down to slow down Moonman, but he's coming out pretty far here. This is kind of dangerous into the Dire Shrine. Pop in the darkness. Frev begins to back up, especially with Abed, who just soaked up 336 damage from an illusion. Probably not a great idea to fight into that.
God, Abed's Razor is just so damn strong right now. He also has the butterfly, making it that much more difficult for Kyo to deal with right now. Since he's seeing he's gonna have to save for the buyback instead of going for MKB. And do you think this Roshan is the right play here? This looks really risky.
I think it is because they have the double Ravage. I think it is very unlikely Digital Chaos successfully contest you, but especially since they do it so quickly. Look at him, it's already dead. Digital Chaos are going to get there a tad too late. Now, they are going to try and catch something here. They are going to be able to catch Febby here. Force staff's going. Oh, no. A total win for Forev. But a two-man stun. No. Abed gets off the BKB first. They're trying to chop down Bulba, but he already has the Shallow Grave on him. Bull stun's already used, and now QO starts getting kited around. This is the disaster. This is the nightmare for Immortals. Forev, he's trying to dish out whatever damage he can. He actually kills. Oh, my God. He actually killed one, and QO got up the cliff. They're going to pop the shrine. And Forev, he's got the cheese as well. What?
Oh, wow.
Did they just pretty much double miss Ravage and still walk away with a 1-for-2 trade?
Well, to be fair, the second Ravage was very good. It connected almost on the entire team. But that first one missed everything. And not only that, Mason hit a 4-man ice path that I was almost certain that would have ended the game.
They lost the cheese, but they kept the ages too. I mean, that was just so insane to me that on that second Ravage that they're just like, all the Sven's hitting is a shallow graved up Slardar. And I thought to myself, like, that's it. It's over. Like, that without a strong 5 seconds of Sven hitting things, you don't win that fight. And yet they somehow still manage with their various force staffs to cut their losses. It's crazy.
That was some classic MVP stuff right there. I mean, they're putting on a good show for us, so I'm happy.
Yeah, they certainly are. You know, the next time they hit that ice path, though, it's going to get real bad. Because Mason is just that close to level 25.
Yeah, he's jungling it away right now. By the time the next engagement happens, he's definitely going to have it. And he's going to be going for Shiva's next. Has it finished? As well as buyback as well.
Dire's bottom shrine has fallen.
No Ravage for 25 seconds. Digital Chaos could just barrel through the front gates and go for that final set of racks. They can still play it a little bit slow because there's also still 60 seconds left on the refresher as well, which is still a significant advantage not having that double Ravage. But DC are going to take for the shrine first. And something tells me I don't think they're going to try and take advantage of the refresher being down and trying to rush things. I think that would be...
I don't think they will either. This will definitely help Forev a lot. He's gonna... He picks up a Blink Dagger finally. Not too often you see a Tidehunter get the Blink Dagger as his 5th item, but I mean, I think he deemed it necessary because they do need a lot of force staffs against the Razor.
Immortals start pushing out, feeling confident. With their double Ravage setup, Digital Chaos are sneaking their way through the right side. Well, that's not much of a sneak, is it? I guess they're just going for the shrine. There's nothing subtle about that at all. Immortals, man, they always give me some real fun games to cast. And Digital Chaos hasn't disappointed too much either. Their one series against Dire early on in this qualifier. Of course, King's Cup was a bit of a disappointment, but at least all three of those games were somewhat close.
I didn't get a chance to actually watch any of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, too busy being a traitor to your country, casting European Dota. Honestly, Steven, why do I
gotta take what you can get, man? I'm not a first-rate caster like some of us are.
Oh, so is that what the European Dota is? Scraps for you?
I mean,
it's 30-33. 45 minutes in, you're watching the very first game of Immortals versus Digital Chaos in the beginning of the playoffs for our PGL North American closed qualifiers. It's been a tense back and forth game number 1, and it feels like it's just about to come to its conclusion, but neither side has a clear advantage. There is the late game advantage, I would say, is slightly in the favor of Immortals, but there's also the anti-Sven Razor pickup that seems to be doing a lot of work for them so far. Immortals are in quite the awkward position. They're going to be able to get the Ravage onto 2. Second Ravage stopped by the Ice Path for Rev. Not going to be able to get that one off. I bet holding on to his BKB for the time being. Here comes QO Sven, but a little bit late to the fight. He gets on a Mason. Decrepify goes out. He doesn't have anything to swing on. Now starts going for Abed, who does not have a static link, so can't take away the damage of QO. Now a buyback from Mason onto the Necronomicon. Tier 3 starts trying to catch some of these heroes with the Shivas. Unable to do so, though. It's just Dubu that's died so far on the side of Immortals, but that costed them both their Ravages, and they really didn't get that much. Digital Chaos, talking about just banging down the front doors, this is definitely their opportunity to end the game.
Alright, it's time to see if Immortals can hold this. QO does have a double damage at least, but there is no Ravage like you said.
Static Link, force away, Abed taking a bit of chip damage. This is what Immortals really need to do. Chip, 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 until they can finally get the opportunity for QO to blink in and get the killing blow. They do have that Ancient Apparition coming up. Just 8 seconds time. And even that, I wouldn't even say that Megas is the end of the game. I would say even far from it. So they could bear the brunt of the loss of their Raxes if it is absolutely necessary. But Immortals don't have to give it up just yet. Digital Chaos not able to force things while heroes are down. But they still have 80 seconds without a Ravage. Abed slowed down, again, taking more chip damage from the Pugna, but there's always the Moon Meander heal to offset things. There's a big push coming into the top lane. Digital Chaos have already lost one tier 4.
Unfortunately for Immortals, there are still 2 tier 2 standing, so they can't even go for some sneaky types of plays to take down the remainder of the buildings in DC. But I didn't even notice this, but DC has already lost 1 tier 4. I mean, this is a potential opening, you know, for Immortals if they really need to rely on the ability to just go straight for the throne.
All right, Steven, some sort of freak accident happened to MSS. He's unable to get back into the game. You are now the offlaner for Digital Chaos in the closing moments of this game. Everyone's mics is muted for some reason, so you have to make the call. What do you say? What do you tell Digital Chaos to do to win this game?
If I really wanted to win, I'd be like, go push out the lanes and wait for Roshan.
No, if you only kind of wanted to win, Steven, what's your advice?
Kind of wanted to win. If that was the case, I would have.
Oh, and Mason is dead. Oh, maybe not. The Shellgrave's going to come through. Now, they do have the Ice Blast over that hero, so he's definitely dead. Moon Meander won't be able to heal him up. MSS in the back line's actually being taken out by MP. A nice two-man stun. They need to get QO out of here, but he's already dead. Abed finishes him off. MP still dealing with the backline heroes, though, but can't save himself. Or maybe he can Decrepify and all that heal. Abed's getting a ton of minus armor onto it, but he can't deal any of the damage. He's down. He has the buyback, but 3 members of Digital Chaos do not, and Mortals know that. They know there is no buyback from 2 of those heroes. They've already used it. And Beastmaster is just a fortuitous happenstance that he's actually missing 200 gold for a buyback.
Oh, and this is some classic MVP, or sorry, Immortals play right here. They're just going for it.
Throwing already down to half HP, and they've got the Ravage up, ready to go. Rev lets it go. Nope, QO. He ignores. He's ignoring the heroes. Screw that. I'm taking the throne, boys, and there's nothing you could do to stop me. Immortals will take game number 1 against Digital Chaos.
This wasn't how we predicted it to happen, but close enough. Something along the lines of what we predicted earlier did happen.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could really predict some of these games, man. That was a crazy ass game. And one hell of a hype for game number 1. But we are going to take a break. Take a short break. We'll be back with game number 2 of Immortals versus Digital Chaos.